Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at using Microsoft Flow or Power Automate to trigger an action on a message in Microsoft Teams. And so what this will do is, say you have something that you need to do for someone and they send you a message of a to-do item. Let's say, for instance, we got a message from our friend here that says, can you please send out that email to our marketing team for the Contoso Marketing Summit on October 15th. And so sometimes we can lose track of our to-do items, so a quick and easy way to remember it is by adding this to our to-do list. And what we're going to do is, you'll notice when you hover over a message in Teams, whether it be a direct message or a message in a team channel, you'll get this context menu with these three more options. And if you go to more actions, you can actually do different things depending on the types of apps you've installed. Well, with Power Automate, and when you build a flow, you can actually create your own action to do whatever you want to do with. In our case, we actually want to add this to a to-do list. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to flow.microsoft.com and you're going to go into here, you'll click on create, and you'll click on instant flow. And in instant flow, what we're going to do is, you'll see under the triggers here, there'll be a for selected message for Microsoft Teams. If you don't see that, you can actually go ahead and just like scroll through to try to find it. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this add to to-do list. And then we'll select that and we'll say create. And what this will do is it'll create our flow, and you'll see here it'll say signing in. And so there's the option to create an adaptive card. I don't know if you've never heard of adaptive cards. Adaptive cards are very common, especially in Microsoft Teams and using bots. And what that does is it creates this little card in a message in Teams that you can have people fill in different information. So in our case, we're not going to do that, but you could, if you wanted to get more information from the user or for yourself, you could certainly create an adaptive card to do that. And then there's also these advanced options, so it allows you to specify dialogue width and height, but we're just going to leave it as is. The next step, what we're going to do is we are going to create an action that a to-do list. So you'll notice when I search to do, there's Microsoft To Do, and what we want to do is we want to add to do. Okay, and I mean there's a bunch of different actions. Say you wanted to create a to-do list first, so what you could do, here's an option, is you could create an adaptive card that allows the user to create a name for their to-do list. And so you would, in this case, you would create a to-do list first and then add your item to that to-do list. But in our case, we're just going to say add to do. And what it's going to do again is it's going to authenticate. And in our case, it's wanting to have a subject. So let's just say, let's just call this our Teams to do, okay? And then it's going to want you to add to a to-do list. So depending on what to-do lists you have, in my case I only have one to-do list, but you can create to-do lists in Microsoft To Do. And I'm going to just, in our case, select the task. And again, these are other things that you could, context you could add to that adaptive card. So say you want to have a due date or a mind a date or a start date, etc. I'm just going to leave those all as blank. And here I'm going in my status, or sorry, my body, I'm going to say do the following. And then you'll notice when I've clicked in here, there's this option to see dynamic content. If you don't see that pop up, you can click this little button here. It hides and shows it. And you'll see the different types of dynamic content that's generated by Teams. So in our case, what we want to do is we want to get the message content. And so there are other types of information that you could get. Say, you're interested in getting the sender's display name. So actually, let's do that. Let's grab their display name, and we'll say we'll have that, and then we'll do return. So let's just say sent by, and then need to do, and we're going to add our content here. And so we also have the option of adding different advanced options in here, and in our case we're just going to leave it as is. Hey everyone, just a heads up, I had to re-record this section of the video, so that's why I'm dressed differently. Yeah, without further ado, let's just continue on with the video. So we've added the to-do action, and so we have our subject. We're adding it to our to-do task list. We can set a status if we want, right? I mean, you can go ahead and edit any of these fields if you want to, but we're just going to leave them as is. And then sent by, we're adding the display name, and then we're also adding the content, right? And those are all the dynamic areas that we're adding to our body. As well as there's some advanced options here if you want to play around with that, but we're just going to leave it as is. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to save that. Once that's saved, we're going to head into Teams now. And so if you hover over an image, a message, not an image, that you would like to add to your to-do list, if you hover over it and click the more options and more actions, you'll now notice that your add to to-do list flow shows up here. So if you go ahead and click that, it'll just say ran successfully. Close it. If you go ahead and go into your to-do, so just go to office.com and you can access Microsoft To Do, or you can also go to to-do.office.com. You'll notice your different to-dos. You might have different ones. Mine's saved under tasks, because remember in the flow, if I go back to the flow here, I selected it as the to-do list. So if I go back there, I can click on that guy, and I can see that it's the Teams to do. So if I go again back to the flow, that was the subject line, as well as any of the other fields, which in our case we ignored, but we did have this kind of body area. So it's sent by, and who it's sent by, just this user mod administrator, and then need to do, and that was the message, right? So if I go back to Teams, can you please send an email, right? That now shows up there. And so you can customize that however you'd like to, but that kind of gives you an idea of how quick and easy it is to set up a to-do flow in a matter of minutes. So this can be super helpful if you want to quickly add any messages from your colleagues in Teams, and you just want to quickly post it to a to-do task, or maybe there's other things you'd like to post it as to other applications. You can now do that through Flow for a selected message, and you can do a variety of different actions against it. So hopefully you found this informative and useful, and yeah, I hope to catch you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye for now.